Florida's coastline stretches for more than 1,300 miles. Warm water, shallow sandbars, some of the most visited beaches on Earth. It's also the global center of recorded shark encounters. Each year, millions of people enter Florida's waters without incident. Most shark encounters are brief, accidental, and survivable. But history shows that under certain conditions, rare encounters become tragic. This documentary examines the 10 worst shark attacks in Florida history, ranked not only by fatalities, but by injury severity, public impact, and what each event revealed about human behavior in shark habitat. These stories are drawn from official records, eyewitness testimony, and survivor accounts. They are not legends, they are not exaggerations. Over time, patterns emerge. Shallow feeding zones, low visibility, bait fish movement. Moments when people and sharks occupy the same space unaware of each other. This is not a story about monsters. Sharks are not hunting humans. It is a story about proximity, misunderstanding, and the thin line between safety and risk in natural environments. Each of these incidents changed how Florida responds to shark encounters, influencing beach patrols, emergency response, and public awareness worldwide. These are the moments that shape Florida's shark history. Let's begin. Stephen Schaefer, 2010. Stewart Beach, Florida. In the summer of 2010, Stewart Beach was experiencing near-perfect conditions. Clear water, steady wind, a wide stretch of open ocean just offshore. Stephen Schaefer, an experienced kiteboarder, entered the water alone. He had done this many times before. Kiteboarding places riders farther from shore than most swimmers, often over deeper water where sharks naturally travel. That day, multiple sharks had been reported in the area, a detail that would later become critical. At some point offshore, Schaefer fell from his board. Witnesses on the beach saw him struggling in the water. What happened next unfolded rapidly. A shark attacked, inflicting severe injuries to his leg. Despite efforts to stay afloat, Schaefer began losing blood at an alarming rate. Other kiteboarders and beachgoers rushed to help, pulling him toward shore while emergency services were called. First responders arrived quickly, but the injuries were catastrophic. Stephen Schaefer was pronounced dead shortly after. The attack drew national attention not only because of the fatal outcome, but because of the activity involved. Unlike most Florida shark attacks, this incident did not occur in shallow surf. It highlighted a different risk category, offshore recreational sports that place individuals in deeper water, isolated and difficult to reach in an emergency. Investigators later emphasized environmental overlap rather than aggression. Sharks were present. A human entered their space, and a rare tragic encounter followed. Stephen Schaefer's death became a reminder that experience does not eliminate risk, and that distance from shore can dramatically change the stakes. Attack number 9, Jamie Daigle, 2005. Miramar Beach, Florida. On a summer afternoon in 2005, Miramar Beach was busy with families and vacationers. The water was calm, visibility was good, conditions felt safe. 14-year-old Jamie Daigle was playing in the surf with friends, staying close to shore in shallow water. Nothing about the scene suggested danger. Without warning, a large shark attacked. Witnesses described sudden thrashing in the water, followed by screams. The shark inflicted devastating injuries to Jamie's leg before disappearing just as quickly as it arrived. Beachgoers rushed into the water to help, pulling him toward shore as others called for emergency assistance. First responders arrived within minutes and attempted life-saving measures. Despite their efforts, Jamie Daigle did not survive. The attack shocked the community and drew national media attention not only because of the fatal outcome, but because of the victim's age and the location. Jamie had been in shallow water close to shore during daylight hours, the type of setting most families consider safe. Investigators later believed the shark was likely a bull shark, a species known for its ability to tolerate shallow, nearshore environments. This incident shattered lingering assumptions that dangerous shark encounters only happen offshore or in deep water. For many parents across Florida, the Daigle attack became a turning point, a reminder that sharks do not recognize designated swimming areas or human expectations of safety. Jamie Daigle's death remains one of the most heartbreaking shark fatalities in Florida history. It underscored a difficult truth. Even rare encounters can become deadly when people and powerful predators cross paths in shared space. Attack number 8, Thaddeus Kubinski. Street Pete Beach, Florida, 2-minute narrative. In the year 2000, Street Pete Beach was considered one of Florida's quieter coastal areas. Residential docks lined the water. Boats sat idle. The bay appeared calm, familiar, and safe. Thaddeus Kubinski was swimming near his family's dock, a place he knew well. This was not open ocean. It was a residential waterway, sheltered from waves and far from crowded beaches. What many people did not realize at the time was that bull sharks frequently travel through inland channels. They tolerate low visibility, shallow depths, and confined spaces better than most shark species. At some point, without warning, a large bull shark attacked. The strike was sudden and devastating. There were no visible fins, no sign of danger beforehand, just a violent encounter in water that felt routine. Family members and nearby residents rushed to help, pulling Kubinski from the water while emergency services were called. First responders arrived quickly, but the injuries were severe. Despite medical efforts, Thaddeus Kubinski did not survive. The attack stunned the local community. Unlike most shark incidents, this did not happen at a crowded beach or during ocean recreation. It happened at home. Investigators later confirmed the shark was likely a bull shark, a species responsible for a significant portion of serious shark attacks worldwide. This case forced officials and residents to confront a difficult reality: sharks do not remain offshore. Florida's canals, bays, and docks are part of the same ecosystem. The Kubinski attack became a cautionary example used by marine biologists and safety officials to emphasize that familiarity does not equal safety and that shared waterways demand constant awareness. Attack number 7, Willie Talisman. Vero Beach, Florida. In the late summer of 1998, Vero Beach was experiencing a typical Florida afternoon. Warm water, small waves, families scattered along the shoreline. 9-year-old Willie Talisman was playing in the surf with other children, staying close to shore in water no deeper than his waist. Adults nearby watched casually. Nothing appeared unusual. Without warning, a shark entered the shallow water. Witnesses described sudden movement, followed by screams. The shark struck Willie and disappeared almost immediately, leaving chaos behind. Bystanders rushed into the water, pulling the child toward shore as emergency services were called. First responders arrived quickly and attempted life-saving measures. Despite their efforts, Willie Talisman did not survive. The attack sent shockwaves through the community and across the state. Fatal shark attacks involving children were exceedingly rare, and this incident shattered the belief that shallow water provided protection. Investigators later suggested the shark was likely a bull shark, a species known for frequenting nearshore environments and murky water. The location of the attack raised serious concerns. Willie had been only a short distance from land in an area commonly considered safe for children. The tragedy forced Florida officials to reevaluate public messaging about shark safety. Parents, lifeguards, and beach managers began emphasizing awareness even in shallow surf. Willie Talisman's death remains one of the most heartbreaking shark attacks in Florida history. It stands as a painful reminder that sharks do not distinguish between deep water and shoreline, and that shared spaces carry risks, even on calm days that feel ordinary. Attack number 6, John Martin. Shell Island, Florida. In the late 1980s, Shell Island was known for its clear water and quiet isolation. Accessible only by boat, it attracted experienced snorkelers looking to explore away from crowds. John Martin was one of them. An experienced swimmer and familiar with Florida waters, Martin entered the water alone to snorkel near the island. Conditions appeared ideal. Visibility was good. The sea was calm. What could not be seen beneath the surface was the presence of a large bull shark moving through the area. Bull sharks are known for patrolling shallow coastal waters, often close to sandbars and drop-offs, exactly the type of environment surrounding Shell Island. At some point during the dive, the shark attacked. The encounter was sudden and violent. Martin sustained catastrophic injuries before he could reach safety. When he failed to return, search efforts were launched. What rescuers later found confirmed the worst. John Martin did not survive. The attack shocked local authorities and marine researchers alike. Unlike many incidents involving surfers or swimmers, this attack involved a snorkeler in clear water challenging assumptions that visibility reduces risk. Investigators later emphasized that bull sharks are highly territorial and unpredictable, particularly in areas where food sources are present. The isolation of Shell Island also played a role. Distance from shore delayed emergency response, significantly reducing chances of survival. Martin's death became a sobering example used in dive safety education across Florida. It reinforced a critical lesson. Experience does not eliminate danger. Even in calm, clear conditions, entering a shark's environment, especially alone, carries inherent risk. Shell Island remains beautiful and remote, but John Martin's story is a reminder that isolation can magnify consequences when something goes wrong. Attack number 5, Christy Wapniarski. Ormond Beach, Florida. In the early 1980s, Ormond Beach was known for quiet waters and recreational boating. On this day, the ocean appeared calm, with light wind and minimal surf. Christy Wapniarski was sailing offshore when her small sailboat capsized. Alone in the water, she made the decision to swim toward shore. From the surface, the distance did not appear overwhelming. But the waters between her and land were deeper than they looked, an area frequently traveled by large coastal sharks. At some point during the swim, a shark attacked. The encounter happened far from immediate help. There were no lifeguards nearby. No quick rescue. Christy disappeared beneath the surface. When search efforts began, only fragments of the incident could be pieced together. Days later, partial remains were recovered, confirming she did not survive. The attack deeply unsettled the local community. Unlike most shark incidents involving surfers or swimmers, this tragedy involved a boating accident followed by a long swim through open water. Investigators later believed a large predatory shark was responsible, likely attracted by movement and distress at the surface. The case highlighted a critical danger often overlooked in water safety discussions: the increased risk faced by individuals stranded offshore. Swimming long distances after equipment failure dramatically increases exposure time and vulnerability. Christy Wapniarski's death became a sobering example referenced in boating and sailing safety education across Florida. It reinforced a difficult lesson that when accidents force people into open water, survival depends not only on strength and experience, but on conditions that cannot be controlled. Attack number 4, William Dandridge, Key Biscayne, Florida. In the early 1960s, the waters off Key Biscayne were popular with experienced divers. Clear visibility, warm currents, and abundant marine life made the area a destination for underwater exploration. William Dandridge was an experienced diver, familiar with the risks of open water diving. On this day, he entered the water with confidence, equipped and prepared. What could not be seen from the surface was the presence of a large predatory shark moving through deeper water nearby. At some point during the dive, the shark attacked. The encounter was sudden and catastrophic. Dandridge sustained severe injuries before he could reach safety. Other divers and boaters rushed to assist, pulling him from the water and calling for emergency help. Despite immediate response, the damage was extensive. William Dandridge did not survive. The attack shocked the diving community throughout Florida. Unlike many shark incidents that occur in shallow surf, this encounter happened offshore, in deeper water, a reminder that divers face a different category of risk. Investigators later suggested the shark was likely a large bull shark or tiger shark, both species known to patrol reef edges and drop-offs near Key Biscayne. The incident highlighted how diving activity can intersect with natural hunting routes used by large sharks. Dandridge's death contributed to changes in dive safety practices, including stricter buddy protocols and increased emphasis on situational awareness underwater. His case reinforced a critical reality of ocean exploration. Experience reduces mistakes, but it cannot eliminate danger. In the underwater world, humans are visitors, and even seasoned divers remain vulnerable when they cross paths with apex predators. Attack number 3, William Sinker, Key West, Florida. In the year 1917, Key West was a growing coastal city, busy with tourism and maritime activity. Public exhibitions were common, and ocean life was often treated as spectacle rather than danger. William Sinker was a strong swimmer who agreed to take part in a public dive demonstration near the shoreline. A crowd gathered along the water, watching as he entered the sea. At the time, sharks were still widely misunderstood. Many believed they posed little threat to humans even in open water. That belief was about to be shattered. While Sinker swam beneath the surface, a large shark moved into the area. Witnesses on shore suddenly noticed violent movement in the water. Moments later, Sinker was attacked. The incident unfolded in full view of the crowd. People screamed as blood appeared on the surface and the swimmer failed to resurface. Rescue attempts were immediate but chaotic. By the time help reached him, the injuries were catastrophic. William Sinker did not survive. News of the attack spread rapidly, fueled by the fact that it happened during a public event and was witnessed by dozens of people. Newspapers across the country reported on the incident, amplifying fear and disbelief. This attack became one of the earliest widely witnessed fatal shark attacks in Florida history. It forced the public to confront a reality that science had not yet fully explained, that sharks were capable of sudden, lethal encounters with humans. The sinker attack changed public perception overnight. It marked a shift away from treating sharks as harmless curiosities and toward recognizing them as powerful predators sharing the same waters. Attack number 2, Charles Vansant, Beach Haven, New Jersey. In the summer of 1916, the Jersey Shore was considered safe. Shark attacks were thought to be a distant problem, something that happened in foreign waters, not along the beaches of the northeastern United States. Beach Haven was a quiet resort town, crowded with vacationers escaping the city heat. Swimming was popular, and fear was almost non-existent. Charles Vansant was a young man visiting the area. On the afternoon of July 1st, he decided to take a quick swim before dinner. The water was calm. The shoreline was crowded with onlookers. As Vansant entered the ocean and began swimming near the surface, a dark shape moved beneath him unseen by those watching from shore. Without warning, a shark attacked. Witnesses saw Vansant suddenly cry out and struggle violently in the water. The attack lasted only seconds. A hotel employee named Alexander Ott rushed into the surf to help, fighting against the shark as he pulled Vansant toward shore. Blood spread through the shallow water as the crowd watched in horror. Vansant was dragged onto the sand, suffering massive injuries to his legs. Despite immediate attempts to save him, he died shortly afterward. This attack stunned the nation. It was widely reported in newspapers, but many experts dismissed it as a freak accident. Some even denied it had been a shark at all. Beaches remained open. Just days later, that decision would prove catastrophic. Charles Vansant became the first victim in what would soon be known as the 1916 shark attacks, a series of events that permanently changed public perception of sharks and ocean safety. The illusion of safety along the American coastline had been shattered. Attack number 1, Belton Larkin. Florida coastline. The morning felt ordinary. Clear skies, calm water, a familiar stretch of Florida shoreline that had seen thousands of swimmers pass through without incident. Belton Larkin entered the ocean expecting nothing more than a routine swim. There were no warnings posted, no visible signs of danger. The water appeared peaceful, almost inviting. Beneath the surface, the ocean was anything but calm. Without warning, a large shark surged upward from below, striking with explosive force. Witnesses described the water erupting violently as Belton was pulled under in an instant. The attack was sudden, fast, and devastating, leaving no time for escape. There was no prolonged struggle visible from shore, just a brief, horrifying moment where the ocean turned dark with blood. The shark released Belton and vanished just as quickly as it appeared, disappearing into deeper water. Screams erupted along the beach as people realized what had happened. Bystanders rushed into the surf without hesitation, pulling Belton back to shore despite the risk of another strike. Blood loss was severe. Shock set in rapidly. Towels and clothing were pressed into wounds as frantic calls were made to emergency services. First responders arrived within minutes, but the injuries were catastrophic. Despite immediate medical care, Belton Larkin did not survive. His death stunned the community. There was no reckless behavior, no attempt to provoke wildlife. Just a normal day interrupted by an apex predator moving through its natural territory. Belton Larkin's story stands as a grim reminder that the ocean is never fully predictable, even on calm days, even in familiar waters. And when an attack happens, it happens fast. 10 attacks. 10 moments where ordinary days at the water's edge turned into something unforgettable. These stories span decades, locations, and circumstances, but they share a common truth. The ocean does not recognize intention. It does not reward experience, and it does not warn before it acts. Florida's coastline is one of the most active shark habitats in the world. Warm waters, migratory routes, dense marine life, and millions of people entering the ocean every year, often unaware of what moves beneath them. Most days pass without incident. Most swimmers return safely to shore. But these 10 attacks remind us that rarity does not equal impossibility. Patterns emerge when viewed over time. Attacks clustered near shore, shallow water, clear visibility. Moments when sharks were feeding, migrating, or responding to sudden movement. None of it guarantees danger, but all of it increases risk. Survivors often describe the same thing: confusion before pain, silence before chaos, and afterward, a permanent understanding that the ocean is not a controlled environment. For families, the loss is lifelong. For witnesses, the memory never fades. And for communities, each attack leaves a mark that lingers long after the headlines disappear. These are not stories meant to inspire fear. They are reminders of respect. Respect for nature's power. Respect for preparation and awareness. And respect for the reality that humans are visitors in a world far older and far stronger than us. The ocean gives endlessly, but it never gives safely. And sometimes, without warning, it takes. Would you risk Florida waters? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.